For it. Let's start our show with Chris. Hi, Chris. How are you? Give you a brief intro. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I've got a few years off. but yeah. So basically, a little bit about Chris. Chris, I think, has been in Dubai for over 2 decades now. I've first
20 years.
20
Almost.
I met him first in about 2003 or 2004, and at that time he was into lighting design, and ever since he's I think a few years later you moved into visuals, and then you've been totally into it till today, and which is, if not 2 decades, it's at least 1.5 decades.
Easily.
So yeah, and so he's been in the lighting and lighting design and the visual scene for the longest time here in Dubai. Apart from that, he used to run his own techno nights called Glitch. And again, I could be wrong on the year, and I'm thinking 2010 was your first Glitch party. 2009, there we go. It's official, yeah. 2009 is first Glitch party. So yeah, if you guys have been around long enough, I'm sure you would have attended one of these super cool parties. Apart from that, Chris is a huge techno lover and a really passionate traveler. I see you traveling all over the world.
For the techno.
Yeah, for the techno. So yeah, that's Chris. And like I said, if you've been long enough in Dubai, you definitely have met people have met you, people know you. But for the people who don't, give us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I don't literally mean about yourself in the sense that when you moved to Dubai and all that, but in the sense that, how things started for you in Dubai.
I just want to also know that I think it'll pick up here. What do you really call yourself? I know because you said visual and the light design. So is there? I mean, I don't know what exactly that is.
For work, visuals. So it's not just the live visuals in the club. We create custom content for clients, corporates, clubs, corporates, brands. It's a little bit of advertising, a little bit of motion graphics, all mixed together.
But all this started much later, no? So initially, when did you move into Dubai, by the way?
Early 2001.
2001. So how
the same time.
No, I moved in 2002. 2002. How did was Dubai part of the plan? That's what I meant.
No, Dubai was not part of the plan. So I actually came here just to escort my grandmother. She was too old to travel. So, and the music scene was really good at that time.
Yeah.
It was house music, but good quality house music.
Yeah.
So that's why I stayed back.
Okay.
Got a job.
Yeah. And was because, like I said, when I met you in about 2003, you were into lighting. Was lighting part of the plan, or?
Lighting was always part of the plan. So I used to do lighting back home.
And home is Hyderabad.
Yeah.
You were in Hyderabad before you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
And Dubai was your first
yes.
out. Yeah. Okay. So in Hyderabad you were doing lighting as well.
Yeah. I used to do lighting for a company called Mouse Audio.
Okay. And what were you doing for these guys?
So lighting design, programming for mostly concerts.
Oh, you were doing corporates as well at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you doing any
lighting design for corporates?
But you were doing any nightclubs or?
Very basic stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually the reason why I did lighting was because I used to DJ in certain clubs on and off.
Okay.
And the lighting used to usually suck. So
Yeah.
I used to go on a day early and try and figure out how to program this thing.
Yeah. We're going to get into that because that's one of the reasons that we thought was also cool to have you over, because we'll get into that.
Yeah.
What you just said. We're going to get into that in a little more in detail, but definitely we're going to get into that. So you moved in 2001 and then and if I remember well, you started off with Artes? Was that your...
Good old artist.
Yeah.
Good old artist.
Was that your first job in Dubai, or were you working for somebody else?
No, I was working for an advertising agency before that.
Oh, nice. I didn't know you were working for an agency.
Yeah, my base is graphic design.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I studied, and that advertising is what I studied. And so
If you're in an agency, there's still hope.
No,
Life
but,
is not ending in this agency.
But you learn a lot of things from an agency, right? Because you learn
Sure.
about color theory, you learn about design, you learn about structure, and
Yeah.
you know how things fit together. And so, 20 years back from then, now I kind of implement everything together to make a good video, make a good presentation.
So how did the lighting? From lighting you went to advertising, and then you went back into lighting. So
Yeah, because when you come here, people tell you, oh, you need to find a good job, and so on. So a good job was not running around in the middle of the night carrying flight cases or hooking up lights and getting electrocuted. So a good job was sitting at a desk and doing stuff on a computer. So that's what I tried to do.
How long did this advertising agency job last?
About 6 months, like I said.
Nice. And how far? Yeah, I know you were living in Karama at that time.
Yep.
So how far was work?
I was in Dera. So.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, right next to the clock.
at that time there was no new Dubai, so there was
Yeah,
no
that was
there
it.
was no 50, 70 dirham taxi
No,
drivers.
that was it. You had these kind of what do they call, man? The random.
The vans.
The random guys, they just pick you up and stuff.
The illegal cabs.
Okay, the illegal cabs.
Yeah, let's not call them that.
Yeah, but man, we're talking about a different time of Dubai.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's
Totally.
completely different now.
I used to have a guy called Jafar. He was my private cabbie. I just call him. And then,
This guy's spoiled, get a private
Yeah.
cabbie and stuff, man.
You know you've made it in life when you have a private
cabbie.
cabin. We did not have.
I just go, hey Jafar, I just need to go to 4 Point Sheraton because our whole life revolved around 4 Point Sheraton at that time. Everything was 4 Point. Viceroy, Copas. The
Yeah.
whole nightlife for us was 4 Point
Yeah,
Sheraton.
you used to
at that
live
time.
in that kind of
Yeah,
square. right?
yeah. There was nothing else. I mean, at that time, what? If you drove to Hard Rock Cafe, it was like you were driving out of
It's the
town.
end of the world.
Man, where
It's
you
the
going?
edge of the world, the wall.
I just wanted to step back because you're talking about the agency and the color theory and stuff. That sounded really interesting. So, before joining the agency, did you already have some insight on the like all of those things, or the
Yeah.
agency then
I studied
really?
advertising, so you study design, you study layouts.
Okay, so you studied
softwares,
design.
and you study color theory and
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, even software. I'm sure not to sound too old, but like 2 decades ago, I'm assuming you would have started on something else, and now.
No, just pretty much Photoshop, Illustrator, and so on.
Okay, so the basics are still pretty
with
much.
the Adobe,
Okay.
the Adobe line of products.
Okay, so but in terms of the whole, going back to the whole agency, like, what else did you really take from there? Like, besides the whole color theory and things like that, what else have you like?
From an agency,
Yeah.
you need to work on time.
Okay, discipline. Okay, discipline is good.
Yeah, because man, you don't understand if you turn up 5 minutes late to a corporate event, like even though the event's starting 10 hours from then, if you say you're going to be there at say 7 in the morning, if you're not there at 7 in the morning, people freaking panic.
So, I mean, let's get into your visuals now, and we'll talk about lighting a little later. But now I know visuals is something you're doing like full on. What is your work flow like when you take up a gig? What is it that goes through your mind? What is it the brief that you're taking? What is it you're working? What is your homework rather? And second part of that question is, I know you work with a lot of video loops. So is this something that you make, or you do a combination of both, or what?
See, we do a combination of both because you can't really make so many loops to keep an 8-hour party going unless you repeat it like 100 times. That's not cool.
Yeah.
So you make what you can't find,
Yeah.
and what you want. If you find something online and you're buying it, then that's cool.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something that you don't, if you're looking for something and you can't find it, then you make it.
Yeah.
There's no point making something that's already out there.
Of course, yeah. So, what is your workflow like? I mean, in general, what? Let's take this as two separate types of events. Let's do nightclubs, which is a full-on DJ gig or concert, and then let's do your corporates. So let's go with nightclubs.
So for a nightclub, you need to figure out where you're playing, the venue itself.
Yeah.
What's the style of the venue,
Okay.
right? You can't go into a very flashy glam venue and play dark visuals.
Of course.
So you need to do your homework. You need to know where you're playing.
But
who
does
you're
it
playing
matter
for.
with the venue or does it matter with the sound? What matters to you with
Flash-
the visuals?
A flashy venue will not play techno. If that's your question. If that's your question.
Well, there
Have you
was
seen it?
Marco Corolla playing at what's that place? No, where in Dubai? What's that place?
For Four Seasons, I don't know.
No, not Four Seasons. Not even Four Seasons. I'm talking about the place that is now One Oak. What was it called before?
Clearly, we don't.
VIP room.
Let's not take any names and stuff.
No, it's okay. I mean, we're being.
Right,
We're just trying to say.
But it's a classy place.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a classy place. So,
It's too late
but
for
it's-
that now.
It's a classy place. It's a classy place.
so yeah. So carry on. How do you go about your?
Yeah, so you do your homework, you figure out who the client is, the venue, what kind of music they're doing, and then you you do your homework on the DJ that's playing.
Yeah.
Right? Because mostly it's international DJs that you get booked for.
Yeah.
Right. So you figure out who the international DJ is, or do your homework on their set, figure out their sound, and whatever they're playing, if it's a little techie-ish, commercialize it, because that's what they're going to play in Dubai. They will commercialize it.
Okay.
Right. And make a set based on what you hear, and also based on the client, because the client's important. Because at the end of the day, the client's signing a check.
Of course. So
Right.
your pre-game to your events would be
Research.
Huh?
Basically research.
Research.
Yeah.
Okay.
You research the club.
By
research
which
the
time you
client.
already know what loops to use and what loops not to use.
Yeah.
So is that in your folder or you just go like, okay, I know this. So how does it work?
No, my folder, it has everything in it.
Yeah.
So I got about 2 GB of stuff on my laptop.
Yeah.
And then I make a separate kind of a set, if you call it.
Okay.
A VJ set for just this DJ.
Okay.
And I split it down. So I know there's going to be 2 warm-up DJs before him.
Okay.
So I make a set for the 2 warm-up DJs, and then I make a set for the main DJ.
Okay.
Yeah. And the international DJs will always have a few key tracks.
Okay.
So select special visuals for those key tracks that you know is just going to kill it.
Also, these guys would come with, most of the time would come with their own visual snippets? No.
No, it depends. If they do, then they'll give you a full set of their
Okay.
stuff, and then they either ask you to play that.
Okay.
Or
Which is pre-recorded or you incorporate that in your...
mostly, if they give you the visuals, I just leave it at that. I don't really mix and stuff because they.
You just let it play his whole, whatever, 1.5 hours or 2 hours that he's
Yeah.
playing. You let it be
Yeah.
and then that's that.
And usually they either give you a loop or they
Yeah.
give you snippets of videos.
Yeah. If they give you snippets,
It's better live because then you can kind of
manipulate it.
manipulate it. Yeah.
In terms of brief, just because I actually I don't know, so I'm just going to be a little ignorant about this. But so when a brief does come in, do they stipulate things like no black and white imagery, or I want a bit of like yellow, or I want do they
sometimes,
get
yeah.
into that, like no animal images or no facial,
Yeah.
So get in that. Has anybody, what's the most interesting brief somebody sent you where it was really specific, saying I don't know, something like no yellow or no orange or something like that? Is that
I've told him, can you just give me black and white?
Just give me black and
I've actually hit him up and said,
Yeah, I mean,
please,
that's-
can I just have black and white? Yeah.
Is there a brief that has come in which is very specific?
Not very specific, but if it's very specific, usually the manager is standing right next to you and say, okay, don't use this, so tone it down a bit.
Okay. So,
But has there
Because-
ever been like certain imagery that you can't use in this part of the world?
Nudes.
Huh?
yeah,
Nudes.
of course. I mean, you gotta respect
The culture, yeah.
Culture here. So I'm sure
Because
that-
a few times we had the DJs give us the loops, and there was stuff that we definitely couldn't play. So I had to edit it out, send it back to their management, and they was like, oh yeah, but this is our style, but hey man, but this is
That's
not.
quite interesting. So
how quickly does that come to you? Because I mean, can you imagine if you get a USB or a DVD right before the gig and you play it up and you don't know what visuals are going to be inside? You get into a lot of trouble, right? I mean,
The club will get into a lot of trouble.
yeah. So how do they?
Because as per my contract, I need everything a week before.
A week
It's
before.
on it's on paper.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I
If
would
don't-
imagine.
if I don't get it on a week before, then it's not my problem.
Okay. Well,
Because if there's something I need to change or the format's not right, I need to
Mhm.
change it, send it back for approval, and then play that.
okay.
interesting.
Have you faced any huge issues being this part of the world? Like, has it been like a hindrance of like, oh man, it's affecting my creativity types? Or you're okay now? Of course, you've been in the game long enough. But when you started off, did it ever come like, man, I find this going to be a problem? No.
Not really, because when I started, there was nobody doing it here.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
Yeah,
I used to go to clubs and say, "Do you need a VJ?" And they'd turn like, "What is that?"
What's that? Yeah.
So to actually give people a demo of what visuals were, I'm talking like way back, like Peppermint time. Right?
Yeah.
I actually took a DVD of Chemical Brothers, a live show of Chemical.
Wow.
I was like, "This is what we can do,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "What the hell?"
How long ago was this?
Oh man, it's like
What? Peppermint was 2008.
even before
2006? No, 2006. Yeah, 2006. Yeah.
So this was before Peppermint. The first gig I did in Dubai was for Scooter.
Oh!
Yeah.
You just made Zico a happy day.
And they just won the best artist on MTV or something.
Aviation, no.
Yeah, aviation.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was there. Tennis game, yeah.
I do. So they got me this round screen and had the Scooter logo right in the center, like the acid face popping in and out in the horn. Yeah.
How was the show, by the way?
It was awesome.
Kick-ass! It was one of the best things I've ever watched. It's good.
And I turned up with this big computer with a big monitor and keyboard and mouse and everything. You know, it's crazy.
So, was that your first,
That was my first gig.
first gig as a VJ? Straight into Scooter?
Straight into Scooter.
Wow.
And I actually,
They were big at that time.
they were big.
Massive,
They
right?
just won the best MTV Artists of the Year or something.
Oh, wow.
So who knew that was from Scooter? Like, straight up, there was no way.
It was Scooter and Alligator, wasn't it? DJ
Yeah,
Alligator.
there was DJ Alligator. Yes.
DJ Snake, no?
DJ Alligator.
So from there on, was it like was it lack of choice of words? Was it a breeze getting in for visuals, or was it again a big struggle till they finally bought into that concept?
It was a big struggle trying to convince people that this is something we could do, because they haven't seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I mean, in Europe it was like common,
of
right?
course,
Yeah?
of course.
But over here, I remember walking into a club, and I'm not going to name which one, but you already named it. And they were showing PowerPoint presentations of the party they had last week.
Yeah, I know. I've seen a couple
Right,
of them.
so they had
It used to be not only one place. There was a couple of places doing this. Like you walk in and all their
The PowerPoint presentations were photographs last week. And it was, for that time, people loved that shit, right? They'll go there and week like, oh, my picture's up on screen and so on. But the music was good. I mean, it was progressive house and it was good house music.
Yeah.
There was no techno or but it was still good
Yeah.
music, good setup,
Yeah.
amazing lights,
Yeah.
amazing sound, PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah. No. And one of the questions that we were even thinking about is how important lighting and visuals are for nightlife in general. And it's slowly, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it's got up much later, no, in this part of the world.
It's got up much later,
Much
but
later,
now
and
it's full on.
Yeah, it's full on.
Now people understand.
Yeah,
Clubs
but also
understand.
it's not everybody. It's only the big guys who want to invest some money into it. But the small guys are expecting the promoters to do that. You know what I mean? And the
No,
promoters are
even-
coming in with not only bringing in the international acts and bringing in the marketing and now you have to bring in the decor, you have to bring in the visuals, you have to bring in the lighting. It's crazy. I mean, you would think that you walk into a club and
Everything's there for you.
at least
At least
the
basics.
sound, lighting, visuals.
Yeah, but I think that's also something interesting. Like, are we there now? I won't speak for the world, but UAE in specific. Are we there now where people are walking out of a club and actually saying, because everybody says the DJ was great, the sound was good, but are people now walking out saying that the visuals were like good? Like, are we there in UAE yet? Do you think people are now really?
A certain clubs, yes. A certain clubs are really, really pushing it, and you have to do that now. You have to push. You can't do something you did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The reason being because 10 other clubs are popping up now, and they are really pushing it. Like a lot of the big clubs, every year the deco is changing. Every year the screen design is changing, lighting design is changing. They don't need to do it. They can just leave it.
Yeah. So here's my
But they are
question.
doing it.
Things are changing in the, okay, let's not talk about the sound element now, just in terms of lighting and visuals. Things are changing. There are a few clubs who are changing it around, like you said, every year they're changing it around. But also, are they hiring the right brains for it? Or what is your thoughts?
I guess
Because
they are, man.
you may have the best equipment, right? And but if you don't have the right person managing it, then there's no point, right? So you feel now people are putting in a lot more effort into
Definitely.
yeah?
Definitely. People are the promoters, not the promoters, but at least the newer clubs are really pushing.
Yeah,
it.
promoters, unfortunately, man, everybody's stuck. I mean, I'm not talking about the huge big promoters who are literally leased out the property, but I'm saying if like a mid-level promoter has to go and there's so many ideas.
Yeah.
I want to do so many things, but can I afford it with the money that I'm getting back from these guys? No,
Definitely.
I can't.
Because see, coming down to that, it's not just the club, man. It's the way everything is set up. For a club to operate, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So they want to kill it on every night. Whether it's a small ass club or it's a big ass club.
Yeah.
The small ass club wants to charge the same price as the big ass
Yeah.
club. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to kill it. So,
Yeah.
so they don't care what music you play, as long as you can sell 100 bottles of champagne.
Of course.
Whether you're a small club somewhere who nobody knows, or whether you're like one of the big clubs in a big hotel.
True.
So
The reason I also asked why earlier about the fact that they are hiring the right people is because I still go to a few hotels now and they have a production, but they have the engineering dealing with it. And you know how difficult it is to talk to the engineering to get something on? It's crazy. You have the equipment. So why don't you have somebody on standby, right? You still have to deal with an engineering guy who's like, no, I don't know. This is where the plug goes and I have to put it on. That's all I've been told, right? Okay, I'm not blaming him, but I'm just trying to tell you that, I don't know, I still walk into a few hotels and we face this problem. So, people are investing, okay, I'm not talking about the big guys. Big players who are investing, of course, they have the right people.
they got proper
When you're
tech, yeah.
putting in that much of an effort, yes, okay, yeah, you need to have the proper people. But even the mid-levels, there are a few people who they're putting in some stuff. Again, not to name names, but you have done an event over there. And you walked out saying, dude, what the hell is this, dude? They don't know where the light switches are. You know, like, okay, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. So that's what I meant.
Things are getting better in Dubai, man. Things are getting better.
Going back to the
Local promoters and stuff like that. Our local acts, I don't know if you're personally there doing the visuals or not, but our local boys showing up now with their own little USB going here.
Not yet, some are, but
Some are?
not
Okay.
all of them.
Because I think everybody's now got their logos and stuff done,
Yeah,
which is quite
logos, yes, but not
quite
their
easy to
own
do.
visuals and not their own.
Okay, but do you see is that something that you think people would probably be doing
should.
in the near future?
They should do that. That's what.
I think they should, yeah.
The reason why, again, it's a branding thing, right? You have your style of music, which is your brand, and you have your style of logo, which is your brand. You should also have a style of visual, which is your brand.
So this is not this is not a plug-in, but if you had to get your visuals created, so I'm guessing I'd hit up somebody like you saying that, hey, I need a 10-minute loop, but I would probably be able to reach out to you and get something created like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you know who to hit up if I want your loops.
I mean, I've been pestering Chris for some few years now. Every time I'm traveling, I'm like, hey, Chris, I'm
show
traveling.
him the money. Show him the money. That's
There's so many nights Warp does this run on Chris's loop right away. Yeah. Literally, like.
Yeah, but there's some things you do for money and some things you do for fun, right?
he's annoyed you enough.
So I know. I mean, we talked earlier that you really like. I mean, I know personally you love to travel and you travel a lot and you still take time to go and see those festivals and do your thing. So, which has been the festival that has nailed it for you? Okay, music being a part of it, but I'm not mainly considering music. I'm looking at it from a point of view of deco, lighting, visuals. Who has nailed? Like you just walk in and you go, whoa, this is.
For visuals, there are.
Not only visuals, I'm saying everything as a whole. For me, and correct me if I'm wrong, visuals I think works well. So the lighting and the visuals have to work together, right?
It's lighting, the visuals, and the DJ. It has to be in
Understood.
sync.
Understood.
It has to be in sync.
Understood. But most of the time, if I'm saying, like, if the lighting and the deco and the visuals are synced, okay, then the DJ is not in your hands. But this could be possibly with the promoter's hands. That day the DJ is not up to mark, we can't do anything about it. It could be the best DJ in the world, but that day he's had a really shitty connection in his flight. He's not in the mood. He's not doing it. Too bad. But I'm saying in the sense that the visual appeal. Let's put it that way. You know, the
The
deco,
design.
the whole thing, which has been you walked in and you were like, whoa. Like this is even before hearing what the DJ is doing, right? You're just like walking in and wow, this is crazy.
In terms of design and stage setup and gear and technology, the Dutch, they are far out.
So which one is it? Festival Digital or
Awakenings from
Awakening? Whoa, those guys are crazy. Yeah.
For stage design, they really push it.
Yeah.
In the techno scene.
Yeah. So this is
I don't go
Awakenings,
to
the festival or Awakenings or one of their parties like the
Both,
gas
both.
hot or
Yeah. Both of them. They were really cool.
Yeah.
This is just a techno thing because that's all I go for. I don't go for the EDM, electric daisy carnival stuff. So,
Yeah. So after checking guys like these, when you come back home, is there something you're looking and saying, dude, we got to change this around? What something is missing?
I like to change everything.
Are we after seeing those? Are we there?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are a few festivals that are really pushing the deco part of it.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Yeah.
Again, it's commercial.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm not even talking musically.
Yeah.
Forget the
Forget
genre.
the music. Forget the genre. Forget the
Yeah,
music.
but personally, what I go for is just techno festivals.
Yeah.
And they're not known for the deco. They're not known for.
Yeah. Although some of them
That's
have a
changed
good,
though, right?
yeah, that is
That's
changed.
changed.
Like if you walk into even like the Time Warp who's doing, who's taking up a warehouse and they're, I mean, I think it's, I don't know if even warehouse is the right word. I think it is, and it's what are these places where they park the planes? The hangars. I think it's a hangar. It's a hangar. The way they change that around with their deco and their lighting and the visuals, it's amazing. I mean, like, I was just going to ask you two things. Like, where do we match up in UAE? And I don't know, have you been back in India? Do you know what's happening there? Can you give us an opinion about India? No, that's something you have no. Like, you've done any research in what's happening there? Nothing. So you have no idea about what's happening in India. Do you go back home at all?
No.
That's probably right. But I mean,
If I get 1 month of travel, I want to travel
Yeah.
and my parents come down, so it's
So that's another thing that, I mean, obviously now with technology and everything, we've come a long way. I mean, before we could have one little screen that, that was there. Now we've got multiple screens and things like that. Like, does that now really make a difference? Like, do you really need to fill out your entire venue with 1,000,000,001 LEDs? Or can you have the same impact with one little LED backdrop? Like, what's your take on that?
not anymore. It needs
you
need to keep evolving. You need to keep doing something cool. And the one screen was cool early 2000s. Not
I mean,
now.
for me, like one of the best visuals was I don't know if you've Depeche Mode.
Yep.
Oh my god! And it was just one gigantic screen. They didn't have any side fails or anything, but the visuals was I'm getting goosebumps just talking with it. It was just insane, and it was
But
obviously
that's
all
a band,
synced
right?
and everything. Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, but what I remember from that, it was just one gigantic screen. That was it, and literally from stage 2, I think it was almost 12 meter screen. And that's it. That's all they had. They didn't have the side panels. They didn't have the little beams. None of that. Literally, it was just a screen in the back. But wow, I mean, the visuals itself
visuals,
was.
so I mean, okay, you're saying that you need
you need to go a step further right now. The reason being because there's 10 other clubs which are doing that. Right. If you're going to stick with your little screen in the center, yeah, you could get away with it. But when people come to your club and then go to somebody else's club, there's a big difference.
So do you now, being in the game for so long, do you actually now try and get involved with your gigs and try to consult with them on a design element? Or you're like, Okay.
I do that mostly for the corporates.
Okay. Yeah, let's
Because-
talk about your corporates. How's that scene? How's that game? What's
So
going on there?
the corporate world is totally different from the VJ world.
Yeah.
The VJ is more impromptu. You come, you set up, you do a little bit of homework,
Yeah.
and you jam like you're jamming music.
Yeah.
Right? You need to know the DJ's tracks a little bit, but it's you come, chill out, jam. The corporate thing, everything happens at the back end. You
Yeah.
do your homework, you do your research, you create content
Yeah.
for 15, 20 days,
Yeah.
and then you hand it over to the AV guys to play that content.
Okay.
So you sit with the client, it's a design phase, it's a production phase, it's two different worlds.
Okay.
Right? And you spend most of your life behind a computer.
So how do you balance your time between? Because I know you have your residency going on
Yeah.
in your nightlife with Zero Gravity,
Yeah,
and then you have your other side of things. So how do you balance?
So the Zero Gravity thing happens 2 days a week,
Yeah.
which is the 2 weekends.
Okay.
And then I actually have a team that works with me to create content.
Okay.
Yeah.
And most of the corporate gigs are anyway during the week. Most of
It's
the
mostly during the week.
time. So you.
And once your content is done, it's handed over to the AV guys to run it.
Okay. So you have the whole week to
Yeah.
create your content, and then the weekends are just.
And
taken
usually
over.
the content creation is like 15 days, 20 days.
Yeah.
It's not a 2-day, 3-day thing.
And what, you have a studio at home now? I remember before when I came to your house once, you had a whole separate area for your stuff.
Yeah.
You still have it with the little fellow around? Or?
Yeah. Still have it, and I work with 2 other people, so we kind
Okay.
of.
Okay. And your setup has become much bigger now?
No, the footprint's the same, just better computers, better monitors.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that would have changed now with, before with rendering and things
Yeah.
like that. Does that, yeah, actually that's an interesting thing as well. Like,
Over the years now, equipment has that. I mean, obviously it's become better, but has that progressively changed over the years, and has that improved what you can do now, right?
A lot.
Yeah, okay.
Especially in terms of the raw power of computers and yeah.
Have you signed out an entire house on buying equipment? Like taking a bank loan and
No.
It's crazy expensive, isn't it?
It is crazy expensive.
Yeah, even buying the softwares to do your visuals
Yep.
itself is so expensive.
A lot of people just they don't think VJing is something you need to pay somebody for,
Correct.
right? But they don't understand VJing is more expensive than DJing.
Yeah.
Every loop you buy is probably 10 times more expensive than an MP3 you buy online. And so is your software. And
Yeah.
you can't just use any computer. You have to use the best freaking computer in the market.
Which I'm sure
Which
because
you
of
take and then you change things in that computer to make it even better.
better because you have to keep updating because
Yeah.
you're working with such high res.
And the bigger you become and the bigger your gigs get, the more powerful your computer needs to be. Because then you're not just doing one thing in the club, you're doing festivals and you're doing live concerts and so on.
And so, at your biggest, what has been your biggest concert in UAE till date?
Probably Jazz Festival,
Okay, okay.
the recent one.
So that's interesting. You know, what kind of visuals do you
yeah,
do in
I
a
wanna
jazz
know
festival?
what is a brief like? Oh yeah, it's not
It's
really
not-
jazz festival.
Yeah, but okay.
No,
they,
but I
they,
done a
they
lot of-
claim that it's more than just
Yeah,
jazz.
yeah, yeah.
But
So
what
I've
do
done a lot of live, non-club related live visuals, a lot
Yeah.
of live artists and so on. But the Jazz Festival, my not interview, but basically a talk with a client was really interesting. So somebody recommended me, he seen my website, checked out my profile, liked everything, called me for a meeting and said, yeah, we like your work, will you be interested in the Jazz Festival? Like, yeah, I actually used to do lighting for the Jazz Festival, like way back when I was an artist. So everything went cool, gave me the list of bands. Then at the end of that, he's like, yeah, so what music are you into? And I'm like, oh shit. let's start talking about that, man. Like, no, I want to know, So, it gave me an idea of your vision of the visuals. I'm like, oh shit, man, this is not gonna go well.
This was when?
Before the Jazz Festival.
The last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, by which time your what do you say, your repertoire on
Yeah,
your
yeah.
thing is huge, right?
Yeah.
You can do whatever. But if this was somewhere in the beginning, it would have been a challenge for
No,
you.
it would have been a challenge.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, so what music do you listen to? And I'm like, I said, dude, this, like, tell me, man, it's okay. I just want to know like the vision of what you have for visuals and so on, because it'll be based on the music you listen to. I was like, fuck, man. Like, I listen to techno, but that's my complete private thing.
Yeah.
My visuals have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Because the moment you say techno or say
Yeah.
heavy metal, people like freak out. Like, oh, you're gonna play dark visuals. Like, no, it's two different things.
So what did you finally end up doing for Jazz Festival, as in visual-wise?
Yeah, so the thing with a live festival, right, or a live concert, it's really easy. They give you a band. Usually the band gives you a track. Do your homework.
Okay, but the bands don't have their own clips that they want you to.
Not all.
Because I remember we went to the Jazz Festival 2 years ago, and I don't know who was playing. It was which was a band that I wanted to see. Remember, I forget which was it. But remember their visuals. Everybody was like, "Whoa, how are they playing these visuals?"
Yeah, they had the sync text and all that.
No, it was literally Duran. It was literally these girls walking around, and it was, I don't know, you could say semi-nude, I don't know. And all of us were going,
Yeah, we were like, did somebody
okay,
not
somebody
know?
just walked in there to give them a fine. Okay, it's going to happen now. They're going to, and about 10 minutes later, they just stopped the visuals and they went to something else.
How do you do that, by the way? We were just talking about your gigs.
So have you done any international gigs, or is that a thing?
Every gig is an international gig.
Okay, so I mean, you travel out of UAE.
No.
Okay.
But international artists coming to the UAE.
Okay, but is that something that you also want to look into, like now, just to get out and
Probably for fun.
yeah? I mean,
Dubai pays the best.
I don't know. Yeah, this was saying. Besides the whole payment thing, but would is that something that you
That
can
excites
do?
you.
Yeah, or I don't even
Not
know
even,
if
it's like you said, some are done for money and some are done for passion. Is that exciting to you?
Yeah,
Or you're like,
it
I
is-
can't be.
also
It
is that possible? I don't know. We can just pull out a USB and go do a gig somewhere else. Can you just pull out your laptop
No,
and just
no.
go do that?
You can't just kind of land up and say, hey man, can I plug in? No, it has to be pre-approved and a whole lot of things.
Here's the VGA cable.
No. Plus, also he has to. You have to see what sizes you're working.
Yeah,
with,
it's
and
very technical.
It's a lot of technique. And so this is going back to my question again. So do you get involved in stage design? I mean, when I
Yeah.
say stage design, I don't literally mean the stage, but what goes in it in terms of, hey man, why don't we do this? This is something cool, or why don't we do that? Or are people willing to take your suggestions? Or,
Yep.
Yeah?
So usually the AV company will send you a design and then you tweak it a little bit, send it back, ask them if it's possible to do this. Usually they'll say.
But these
yeah,
are for
it's too hard.
festivals.
For everything.
For everything. Okay. The AV company sends you this.
Yeah, because the AV company sets up the show.
Okay.
stage,
But then they
the
have to get
lights
that
and-
approval from the client, right? Whoever is throwing the event.
Not really. The AV company sends us the design as well. And say, this is what we plan to do.
Okay.
Because again, most clients are not technical. They're gonna look. They're not gonna look at
But don't
the design of the
concerts
stage.
and think the bands like literally in their tech rider tell them
Yep.
what they want to be, like what
The headliners, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So don't they now set up based on the headliners and then
Yes.
adapt for the other artists?
Yeah, correct.
So the AV will go based on the headliners.
The headliners, yeah.
Tech riders.
Yeah,
And then
for
you're
bands,
tweaking,
for bands
you're
also,
tweaking
yeah.
that up a little bit.
If there's an
If you
opportunity
have
to do
a-
it, and if it's not like on the rider and they say do whatever you want.
Yeah. Was there any particular project that came in and but you changed it? You managed to change it around and you were like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, for the last 2 New Years at Zero Gravity.
Okay.
So the AV suppliers gave us a flat screen. It's like, oh, this is what we're gonna do for New Year. Like, no, because this is not cool at all.
So the New Year setup happens on the
beach.
On the beach.
Yeah.
So that's massive, yeah.
Yeah, and those guys probably hate me because I made them work 3 days in a row in the sun trying to do triangular screens and a whole lot of stuff.
I remember one of the shows that we did with Home Records for Ilcom at
Yeah. We did that
Media
mapping.
One.
Yeah, that was
where
cool.
we
Yeah.
did, I don't know if it was called Ilcom or it was called
It
something
was called
else.
Ilcom.
It was called Ilcom only.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
took that brand and anyway, I don't know. Did you come for those parties in Media One where we did it on the pool side and we did this projectional mapping with the 3 thing? It was really cool. We did I think only 3 artists, but it was super cool. And you helped us with that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that was
One we had like pillars, and then one
Yeah.
we had like the kind of pyramid.
Yeah, and that was projection mapping, is it?
That
You
was
used
projection.
projection mapping
Yeah.
at that time. So what now? It's safe to say that what is the technology that is taking up most of the riders? Is it still they use a lot of projectors, or is it like gone totally into LEDs?
It's gone totally
LEDs. Nobody is into projectors
Nope.
anymore. Not
The
even-
only reason you'll use projectors when it's something you can't do with LEDs.
Yeah. And
It's
what
instead
is
of stage design.
what is that you can't
Projection.
projection.
Yeah.
Are we still using? I mean, I'm just gonna throw out the only softwares that I know, but like, are we still using Watch Out and things like that?
Yes, yes.
Watch Out
Yeah, it's still big. Yeah.
Wow, this is like from like 20 years ago, huh? And it's still there. And I think the hardware bit of it was like a spider or whatever. That's that big.
Spider is completely different.
Oh, it's something. Okay, interesting. But that hasn't. So if Watch Out is still there, what's the next what's the next thing now? Like,
The D3
Watch out
serves-
for version 6.
I mean, is there?
Yeah. There's now better softwares. Augmented reality is coming in big,
Okay,
big,
augmented reality,
massive. Yeah, that's the next step in technology.
Have you started working on anything, or is
I was involved.
pipeline that's coming in?
No, I haven't personally not worked on anything, but I've been on concerts where they used augmented reality.
Nice.
It's amazing.
Let's just play that side something. I think this one's giving some kind of earth problem. So, did we get around to what is your setup like? I mean, what apart from having a computer and a few controllers, what is the software you use, and is there any other gadgets you use to trigger, or what's your setup?
So
like
I
for-
use Resilium Arena with a MIDI controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one laptop.
One controller.
One controller.
Nothing fancy, because everything comes out in the visuals you use.
Yeah.
Right. So you can have softwares talking to other softwares, and you can have controllers talking to other controllers. But man, at the end of the day, it's what's on screen.
Yeah.
How good your sync is, and how good your understanding of what the DJ is playing,
Okay.
Was
regardless
it
of the genre.
Plastic Man, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Was it when Richie Morton did that entire show where I think he had MIDI mapped his entire mixer and
Yeah.
everything? It was 2-3 years ago. Is that something like? Is that I'm guessing that's not an industry standard. I don't think
No, it's
DJs.
not.
Okay, but that's quite an interesting thing. I think he completely mini-mapped his entire mixer, and I think whatever he was triggering was triggering the entire. I think all the lights, all the visuals. I don't know. Can that be done with visuals, or can it be?
Yep, it can be done with visuals, but I'm not too sure about if you're doing a live set, how that would work out.
Okay, but it's possible. Like that is
It is
something.
possible, yeah.
What about yourself? Now that you obviously, because you DJ as well, do you I don't know, with your gigs, do you plan that out, like, with the visuals, with the music? Have you gotten into that side of
so
things?
if I'm doing like an audio video kind of thing, then I have a few key tracks that I'm going to play, and then I have key visuals for that, and the rest of the time is doing it.
Okay.
Because you can't really plan a full DJ set the whole night. Right? There has to be that element of
Surprise.
fluidity, yeah.
But I mean, that's different now. I mean, all the shows that are happening, there are a lot of DJs who've got their entire show planned out, right? Their full light, their entire set. I'm not.
I'm not going to comment.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's not get into that debate. But in saying that, like now, if you take a step back, I know because you guys obviously DJ and things like that, and not taking away from the artistic thing, and yeah. But for somebody like me who just wants to go and consume a good night out, sometimes, I mean, if you're getting caught up into whether he's syncing, not syncing, and what equipment he's using, and whatever, putting that aside, I want to go in and have a great audio experience. For me, audio is first. Like I very rarely walk into going screens. Sorry, but I mean
Yeah,
that's how it is for me. If the sound's tight, great, and then I move on. That hey, okay, the visuals and so. Isn't that nicer also to have, like, if you're going for a festival or you're going for a show, even if it's pre-recorded, and that obviously he's not, it's an unplanned set per se, and he's just going, it's a play, and everything's just done. What's wrong with that? I mean, isn't that okay?
The only people who actually think about all of this is people like us, right? The normal party goers don't give a shit.
Do you think people don't give a shit? I don't know.
I think it's slowly that gap is getting smaller, no? Because people are now traveling, they are seeing the other things, they are comparing
but
their.
that's a different part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
The regular party goers, they go, they have a couple of drinks, they want to have a good time. They don't.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. So you think, like,
Tomorrowland didn't have all that, whatever they call.
The deco, the fluff, and all
Yeah,
that.
you think people would
It
still
won't be
want to go to Tomorrowland?
No.
Yeah.
No. People go to festivals like Tomorrowland because it is Tomorrowland.
Okay. See, so then that's what I'm saying. So that if we think that people don't care, I think a lot of people do still care about.
the sync, no, nobody cares. Man.
Nobody cares, huh?
About the syncing part,
Yeah,
most
nobody
people don't
cares.
know what that
No.
is.
Interesting. So it's only us. Like we just
Yeah,
go
it's
out there going.
no, it's only the kind of the tech heads that who like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you go down to somebody walking to a festival randomly and just say, do you think the DJ is syncing it? They won't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yep. But here's the thing: when people go out for a night, anybody, us or anybody, when they to a club or to a festival, they go for the full experience. They go for the deco. They go subconsciously. They go for the
Of course.
they go for the
Everything
deco. They go
plays-
for the sound. They go for the lights, and they go for the DJ. They go for that vibe. They go for the environment that's in.
It's just that I think from person to person it
Differs
the
slightly,
ratio of each differs. For you, like you said, the music will pay a higher ratio, but still, if there's no ambience there, you may still walk out of there saying, "Man, everything was okay, but something was missing." I don't know. You know, and
That's why the festivals now and the parties now are getting so tight because it's the whole environment that influences your mind on a subconscious level.
Yeah, of course.
You might walk into a really nice club where the music is freaking awesome, the DJ is awesome, the sound system is tight,
but
the lighting is on auto loop, right?
Yeah.
The lighting is just doing some random
Yeah,
shit. There's no
that's-
breakdown, there's no nothing.
Yeah. Just on that auto, that old
Yeah,
controller.
Yeah,
auto.
I mean,
everything is
you make
just
a you make a queue and
based
then
on the
you
bass.
go, and then you go for a drink or something, right?
Yeah.
It you don't know it, but it messes with your mind.
Is that still a thing?
That is still a thing.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Really on auto?
And
Like
this is
that?
why.
Okay,
This is why.
I won't say auto, but you make a couple of programs and you just play whatever.
Wow.
And this is why I was saying that we were talking about it and we said how important it is, which a lot of people don't get. They still think that they can just drop a few lights and if the moving head is doing something like this, okay, it's done. But
The club
it's
owners
not.
don't care about it. The DJs don't care about it.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares.
DJs don't care about it?
No, nobody really cares about it as hey, the lights are going crazy. Nobody does that. But it makes a difference whether you have an awesome night or you have a good night. You're not going to go home and say lighting was shit, right? You're just going to go home like, yeah, it's alright party. Man.
Sometimes. Okay, again, there are a lot of gigs that I've been to and people take an effort, but there are some gigs.
Doesn't matter, huh?
Literally, it's on auto.
Wow.
It's on auto. I don't even think there is a
Person.
No, forget a person. I don't even think there was a few programs. It's picking up the bass tone or the treble tone or some, I don't know what, and then it's just doing red light, this thing going, and like even you're losing your
The vibe,
vibe.
yeah.
Man.
I mean, you don't
That's
realize
not-
realize it because you don't walk into a club and
Yeah.
say, hey, man, lights are going crazy
Yeah.
until you're a lighting guy.
Yeah,
So a
yeah.
lighting guy will walk into a club and say, oh, what's going on with the lights? Or visual
Yeah.
guys will walk into a club and say, why the hell is this visual on?
Yeah.
Or a DJ is going to walk into and say, man, the sound is not good.
Yeah.
So it differs from person to
Oh,
person.
for sure, but I think now it's getting to be like where everything matters.
Now
Like you
everything
said,
matters. It's the
everything
whole-
matters.
It's
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And everything needs to be
It's
in
just the
synergy.
ratio differs from person to
Yeah.
person, but I think everything matters now too because
Yeah.
people are traveling. No?
People are
People are
traveling,
going
yeah.
abroad. People are seeing something. So for you, like you just said, the music also needs to be tight. The visual need to be tight. The decor needs to be whatever you.
And it's harder than it sounds.
Yes.
Is because your lighting guy has to be in tune with the visual guy. Your
Yeah.
visual guy has to be in tune with what the DJ is going to
Yeah.
play. Right, so everything, and it takes a long time. Now the kind of team we have in Zero Gravity, right? Even though the visual setup is not that great, but the moment I turn on a red visual, my lighting guy immediately he adapts to whatever I'm doing. And
Is that because you've been working together for a
Yeah,
long time and
yeah,
you have that
yeah.
sync? Yeah. It's like doing a back to back.
it is literally that. It is literally that.
Yeah.
And the moment somebody else comes in, that whole flow changes.
It's really difficult now. That's what we have a laugh always, and I'm sure you had this problem as well. Like everybody's like, "Hey man, we want to do a back to back," and I don't even know.
Because you need to be on that same wavelength.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's nothing wrong. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's a wrong thing to do a back to back, but you have to be in that.
No, there's nothing wrong. And yeah, if there's a few parties that you're just doing for fun,
Yeah.
Like it's an after party, and you know, like everybody's just there having fun. Yeah, why not? But if it's one of those gigs that you're looking forward to, or everybody, and you're like, man, I just want to play. You know what? I need to.
Yeah.
You know, like you want to do and showcase what
Yeah.
you want.
And
And
go
then
with the
somebody's
business,
like,
just go with the flow.
yeah,
you
and
know?
then somebody's like, you want to do a back-to-back? Yeah, okay. You
Yeah,
know
but
what I mean?
man, most back-to-backs don't really work out. Even on the
Simply because everybody, like you said, everybody thinks
Their
that
own
it's just
person,
come in and you drop a few tracks and everything is going to be fine. No, in 80% of the time, no, it doesn't.
no,
People need to
even
understand
with the
that-
big guys, it's not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case. I mean, they are selling more because of just the name.
Yeah.
I recently saw who did back-to-back.
I don't know in England.
Len Faki with Joseph Capriati.
Oh lord.
I would have. Yeah, so you know what I mean. So it's like that.
Adam Bear and
Yeah, it's completely like she's got her own vibe
Yeah.
going, and he's got his own vibe
like
going.
when they do their own sets.
Yeah, and they've got their own. But I don't. Anyway, going back to this. It's
Yeah, but then again, there are a few guys that really nail it with the back-to-back.
True, and these guys have always done it.
yeah.
They've always done it. Like Arm and Dixon.
Arm and Dixon,
yeah.
I haven't heard the back-to-back live, but apparently it's
Oh,
one of the
they
best.
are amazing. Man. They are amazing. Like even Bilal Bose with who's this guy?
DJ Sneak.
This guy, Raresh.
Yeah, Bilal Bose with Raresh or with Zip and that whole crew. And they are not even doing back to back. They're doing back to back to back to back.
Bro,
Like
you
there are
can't
four
do
people.
back-to-back with Bill Lobos because he's never there.
They're like a ninja, bro.
I don't know.
Suddenly out of the
Now
blue,
I
he'll
don't know
just
if
come
he's
and
talking.
interrupt.
Now I don't know if he's talking physically or he's just not there.
no, I'm talking physically.
You'll never know with him because suddenly he'll be doing something and he'll just drop a thing. Before you know it, he's got in the next track. He's a ninja that way. Anyway, on that note, let's talk about Glitch. Yeah,
It's been a long
Before
time.
we get into the glitch, just one other thing that I wanted to ask was, like for you, like I mean, when you go play music as a DJ, obviously there's that whole thing, you have the people and everything comes together, and you go home ending a gig like, wow, that was an awesome gig. Like for you, visually, what makes you go at the end of the night, wow, that was a awesome gig.
Like events that I've been to.
Yeah, like what is it that needs to come
he's
together?
talking where you're performing.
You're
point.
performing, yeah.
Not
And-
where you think. Like,
Okay.
he's saying, what do you take away as a good gig from a visual perspective?
When everything was in sync, the colors were in sync, the musician, a band or DJs in sync. And the jazz festival was that. We had Harold, who's a super lighting guy, and just everything looked amazing. The visuals, the lights. Yeah, I think the jazz festival this year was spot on, man.
I went, the last one I went was Sting. After that, I've not been. The last one was this guy. Actually, I wanted to
You
go.
were at the gig.
Yeah. The last one was, actually, I wanted to go. What's his name? Jamiroquai, yeah. Jamiroquai, yeah. Sorry, before we go into Glitch, we had a question from somebody online. It was, they wanted to know about 3D visuals, or what do you call
3D
it?
mapping.
3D mapping or 3D,
mapping,
visuals?
yeah. 3D mapping.
And have you ever worked with it in
Yeah,
UAE, and
a lot.
who you worked on it for?
That's the content creation business.
Yeah.
That we did a lot of 3D mapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which are the brands you work with in?
Brands?
Like, who have you done the content for?
Government of Abu Dhabi for National Day, for the Dubai government for National Day.
And what is it? What is it in? What is the production like for a 3D?
Oh man, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. It's
So
a special projector. And
no, the projector is the same. Just
Yeah.
the way you create content, it's created for a certain shape. So if you're mapping a building, the shape of that building, the outline, right?
So you're
The
talking 3D. This is 3D or every
3D mapping.
Oh, 3D
So is
mapping.
the question about 3D
Yes,
mapping?
3D mapping. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you create content for the shape of the building,
Okay.
which then will be mapped onto that building through regular. The projectors are normal projectors.
Normal projectors. Yeah.
Just
So
really
it's all on the way you
Create the
created
content, yeah.
content. And you've done a lot of shows with that.
a lot of not I wouldn't say shows, but
No. When I okay,
Yeah,
here
yeah,
I mean
so you
shows.
could- you could say
meaning,
shows,
corporates and
Yeah.
thing, but I'm more referring to corporates because
Okay.
has anybody on a festival scale used anything like this?
we did it for Welcome.
For Ilgom.
Yeah,
that's
that,
it.
that was
Yeah.
3D mapping.
Yeah, that's it. That,
And were you there for the Adidas shoe thing? That we did?
no.
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 So
at,
club.
at the shoe. What is
No,
the
that was in the parking of
parking of Media One?
Media One. Yeah.
But Adidas. Oh, the
Yeah,
Adidas
yeah.
big Adidas party. Yeah, okay. What did you do there?
We had a huge Adidas shoe that we.
Oh, you mapped
Yeah,
it, yeah?
but huge. It was like 20 meters or something.
But yeah, also now I think another. I don't know if the question was for 3D mapping specifically, but also now I don't know who's doing it. I don't know if it's Ed Fritz or whoever. They're going old school. It was a very old school show curtain, which is like a mesh net, and then you can project on it, and
That's holograms.
is that
Yeah.
no? But I think his last show where it gives you the idea that it's a 3D thing, but it's not.
Okay, so there's two things. There's
Ah,
3D
okay.
content
Okay, so
and there's 3D mapping.
okay.
So what's the question? Was it for 3D mapping?
So yeah, since you've already touched on 3D
Touched on
mapping,
both.
let's
Just give
talk
us a
about
what is what and who's working a lot more with, like, for example, is 3D mapping more popular than the 3D
So
what did you
you-
say projection? Oh, whatever.
So 3D mapping and 3D and projection mapping is the same thing.
Okay.
Just different terms, the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So maybe then we are talking about the 3D.
hologram.
Hologram.
We call it a hologram, whatever.
Okay,
that is called.
hologram is something that floats in midair, kind of thing.
Okay,
Very
yeah.
Star Wars-ish.
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
where the face is coming out and going like the recent one
Like,
where
Eric
you saw
Spritz-
the Eric
Eric
Spritz
Spritz, yeah.
video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
holograms.
that's holograms.
That's
Okay.
holograms,
Yeah.
So
okay.
that's done using, again, just a normal projector or a transparent LED.
What is the
It's just
power
a-
of these projectors, man? I mean, like when you
30,
like for
40
something like that, what would he be
25
using?
plus.
No, 31,000. Again, they double stack it to create 60,000.
Wow.
So that's done on a transparent mesh.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's floating in midair,
Okay, so
but it's a projector.
but the way you create the content is what
It's
is
the
giving
way
you
you
that.
create the content.
Yeah.
The content is king. It's
Yeah.
how you create the content,
And obviously, you're spending a lot more time
Yep.
creating that content versus
playing it.
play.
Yeah, it
I
takes
mean,
months.
Versus making a regular.
Yeah.
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 So is that something that you're also making, or is it
Yeah.
something that
Content creation is content creation. It's just what do you make it for? You make it either for a hologram, or do you make it for a screen, or you make it for a building?
no? So what I mean is, for the brands that you worked with, you use that content for somebody else, or is that only strictly for
it's-
that brand?
When you work with brands, you create the content for that, and that's
Yeah,
done.
that's it. You don't use any-
You can't.
You can't. Yeah.
Being it's for a brand, and secondly, it's made for a certain size. It's made for a certain screen, which you'll probably never use again.
Somebody was asking. I don't know. Maybe you might be able to help clarify what the difference between avenue or arena is. I'm assuming their software.
Avenue and Arena.
Okay. So somebody just want to know what the difference is.
Money.
I don't even know what it is.
Money. One is more expensive than the other.
Okay.
No, Avenue doesn't have the capability of warping or sending out multiple outputs and so on. Arena is a better version of
Like-
Avenue. It's the same.
As the name goes, arena.
Yeah, it's bigger. You can do a lot more things.
I'm going to light up the whole arena.
Yeah. So if you can do a lot more screens, a lot more kind of mapping projects. Arena is the way.
Everything out of one computer. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all you need. One computer. And
Yeah,
just
one
software
one really good computer.
Yeah.
So for all the kids starting out, save a lot of money. This is gonna get expensive.
That's the last thing we're going to come into. But yeah, let's get into glitch now. We'll leave the technical stuff a little bit and let's get into some fun stuff. We know when you started glitch, 2009.
2009.
What was the idea? I mean, what came about that you said, okay, man, let's start at night? What went through your head?
Yeah, because we traveled for a bit, went to lots of good clubs, and we came back and there was nothing in Dubai. Like once you guys stopped walk, I mean, I used to come for walk quite a bit. So, which was my introduction to tech.
It's time for a comeback.
It is.
Time.
So that was my introduction to tech now.
Cool.
Yeah,
This was at what? Copas, eh?
this was at Copa. So I didn't even know it was called techno back then. By the way. It was just good music, and I was into house, but this was cool and so fun. So Elena, who's my wife now, we used to travel, going for a couple of parties outside, and we used to come back to Dubai and there was nothing. So she was like, okay, stop complaining. You want to just have a freaking party and get over with it.
Yeah.
So we had one party, and then it
Was that the first one at the catwalk?
No. We had this at the roof of my building, like way before.
Wow.
So called a couple of friends together and just.
Couple what? Like 50, 60, or was it 20?
Yes, there was a
20
bouncer.
I think there's 20, and then some of the neighbors came and complained, so we kind of invited them in. And
I came to one of your get-togethers where we did the same. It was not a glitch or anything. I don't know. It was remember one of those. Yeah, it was your birthday or something, and you called us over home, and it was the same. Yeah, man, it was the new place. I mean, I don't know if you're still staying in the same place
Yeah,
now. Yeah, it's the same place, and we had this get-together, and you had a few of us home, and then I don't know if it was also during Ramadan. You invited about 15, and then as with all Ramadan parties, you end up with some 30 people, and you're like suddenly going, dude, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this girl is. I don't know who this guy is. Everybody's there, and then each one's coming and playing one CD, and you're like, hey man, you stop touching that.
probably.
That was.
After we had kids, after we had the kid, we stopped all the.
Of course.
Yeah, it's probably 5 years ago now. Yeah.
So Glitch started off on your terrace, eh?
Yep.
And then you moved to Catwalk.
Yeah, so after that it was fun, and we just decided we were not promoters or anything. We had no experience in promoting, so we just said let's try it out.
But man, your parties took off. I mean, it was like really cool. And when you moved, by the time you moved to basement, it was what you were like packing in 300, 400 people, and it was not a weekly; it was a monthly, right?
It was a
or
monthly.
was it a
bi-monthly? Once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah.
And how many did you do in basement? I know I played for one. I think after that
you must have played for more than one. You played, Pooja played, Paul played.
I think I played 2. But man, it was fun. The basement parties was so much fun.
Good club, good crew, good management.
Good nights. Yeah.
The bartenders were great. Everything was cool. It was just so much fun.
Yeah, and
they really got involved in it. Everybody got involved in it. Yeah. I was just going to get into that. And say how the catwalk one.
Yeah.
You kind of undersold it to I don't want to say his name, but everybody know who he. So you kind of undersold it to the management, saying, "Yeah, it's just a party, man. We'll just come put some stickers up or whatever." Dude walks in like 2 minutes before we all about to open the door, and there's like freaking nude mannequins and gas lamps and stuff. It's like, what the hell?
But man, I must say props to you guys, because from your first party you made sure the decor was tight. You made sure that I don't remember what the visuals were in Catwalk. I don't even know if you had any visuals.
No, we didn't have.
Yeah,
we doing something on the ceiling.
Man, I still remember when we started Warped in Copa, Ray and me used to think, what do we do for visuals? And Ray would be like, I have some old Japanese movies. Let's play it upside down. That used to be our visuals, and that we were working on such small budgets, and we were like, hey man, what you have a projector? And the club will be like, we have a 5K or 2.5K projector. Be like, I have some Japanese movies, let's twist it, like from there, and then suddenly like underground parties with like doing like proper.
Dude, I don't know what Japanese movies Ray's watching.
I believe he called it Kurosawa movies.
I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna take a guess.
So but I must say, props to you guys. I mean, the parties were. I know how it is, man, to promote a party and the money you get, and for the amount of money that you actually, I know how much you put into it.
But that's where where everything came together: the lighting, the visuals, the background, the advertising background, and everything to create the brand identity.
No, but I mean literally for what you're getting back from a club to what you were investing. I know how much you were putting in more than what you could have even imagined, because. That's Dubai, right? But that's I know it, and props for that. I mean, you guys did an amazing. I mean, like the basement. For me, the basement parties were the best. I mean, the vibe, the sound was decent. Everything came together. The crew, the guys serving the alcohol, everything. It was so cool. And even the screen behind, it gave you so much of opportunity to do a lot more. And you coming from a whole visual background, you did your own thing, and it was really, really cool. And so, is there any plans of having another? Talking about it?
Not at the moment.
What are you waiting for? I mean,
it's just too busy, man.
Yeah. But do you think there's any venues that?
As of now, I don't know. But Dubai's doing that whole circle again, right?
Yeah.
So it started
Yeah.
off when
Yeah.
I was here, when I first came here and I stayed because of the music. So
Yeah.
it had a lot of good, small parties,
Yeah.
small clubs doing really quality music. And then it went down. Then all the good music went out, and we had all this commercial stuff happening for a long time. And then the underground thing started, and that, you all guys did like a scene, and then I did the scene.
Yeah.
And then it went down again.
Yeah.
And all the commercial came back,
Yeah.
and then again.
Now,
Now we
the thing is, I wouldn't say it's commercial. Now, techno itself has become a more main. Again, lack of choice of words. It's become a mainstream sound. There is still the underground aspect of it, which is not happening because I think it's just not feasible financially for small promoters to do it.
Yeah, and to do that kind of sound, that kind of scene, we're talking like Berlin, it's not gonna happen.
I mean, just
for
to
many-
your
for ma-
unique, like
for
even for
many
you
reasons.
to restart Glitch. The reason I asked you about it, I thought we would get into the fact that you're like now thinking, man, like I still said, you're still walking into a club and you're still finding out, man, the sound is crap, there's no lights, you're bringing the sound, you're bringing the lights, you're bringing the DJ, you're bringing the marketing, you're bringing this, and then what? You're getting 15%, which is nothing.
If you get it.
Yeah, if you get it. Which is nothing. So how does a small promoter even sustain on this? I mean, they can say sell tickets, but now with big clubs doing free events, there is no scope of
Big clubs doing free, not only free events, but big name DJs. And a pretty decent setup. Like all the new clubs, they're really going all out.
For me, I think for all of us, I think I speak for everybody. We've had a blast every time we've gone to Blue Marlin. Everything kind of just worked.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been a pain at the door, but getting past that, till that point, it's very stressful. Very stressful. And then once you get in, it's like you're like, whoa! Because everything works. The sound is great. The lighting is great. The visuals are great. The people, the staff is great. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, when you're like going, and then some of the parties most of the parties are free. You just rock up there, you just go, and it doesn't matter who's playing. It could be 3 top DJs, and
they always look good.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so, how does a small promoter or a mid-level promoter survive that? I don't know. It's
risky.
It's very risky.
Very risky.
People are like, okay. There's also that element that people want to follow their friends.
Yeah.
So you're losing out. We had that problem towards the later end of WAP where people were just, man, I want to. And this is not even the time when Soho or whatever was there. Like it was only Blue Marlin just popping up, and already people were, and Atlantis was doing parties. I still remember Carl Cox and Yusuf was playing Atlantis, and we had
but that was a Sundance festival.
No, this was not even Sundance Festival. This was one of the parties.
There was a club there.
Yeah, not even a club. This was they doing the beach party with Carl Cox and Yusuf.
I was doing the visuals for that.
Yeah, was it Sundance?
Kind of Sundance, but not really.
Yeah, okay. So that day we were doing WAP.
Same setup, same.
And how do I convince people? Hey man, don't do WAP in Casa Latina. And and he's like, Carl Cox is playing in Atlantis.
You were Casa Latina.
Yeah, that time we were in Casa Latina, and and for me, I have a lot of love for that place.
I think it's doing. I think
Just doing its round now.
it's doing its
So
own
now
thing.
all the techno is kind of dying out. It's already died out more or less, and it'll come back at some point.
Means the mainstream techno is done. I think now
In Dubai,
it's slowly going out.
Who's doing anything? There's no. At one point in time, everybody was doing a techno night.
Yeah, but like I said, it's no longer called. That's why it's very difficult now to label it. But people are still booking the Swens and the.
You're talking about the big guys.
Big guys. Yeah. That's going to run out sooner or later. Some of the genre of style, some of the style is going to come, and people are going to be on that. I don't know. It could be disco. I don't. It could be disco because, like you said, everything is making that round circle, right? Now it's coming to the end of that circle.
In my lifetime in Dubai, this whole circle thing it's like its third circle.
Yeah. Like for example, when we were there.
So now where we are?
So
Funky
now
House was
Funky
the cool.
House was
Where is Funky House?
It lasted
no
like
funk.
a year.
No man,
In
longer.
when I first came in.
Yeah, longer man. But Carter's was running for what I know. For what I know, 3-4 years.
Too young, man. I was
Yeah. Carter started off with Funky House. Matthew Charles.
Yeah.
Matthew Charles on a Wednesday or something. It was one of the biggest Wednesday nights.
Good night,
in,
actually.
It was a good night.
It was a super night.
What a night! What fun night. And then Rob B was playing progressive on one of the days. They had nothing in that. It was a bar.
Dude,
That's it.
The music back then was really good. It was not techno, but it was good quality music.
Yeah,
and
but
people came for good quality music.
Well, yeah. But what I'm saying is now it's doing the rounds, like you said. It's and I think it's again I say mainstream house and techno is going to come down. Maybe house will stick on. Maybe now it'll move on to a different style of house. Maybe it'll move on to disco. But I feel that is coming to its end. How many more Marco Corollas and Seth Trottlers and Jamie Jones or whatever? How many more can you do? How many times can you book Solomon? That's it. Finish. Sooner or later, people are going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll see him next month, and that's how it's going to go. And then finally, from 3,000 tickets, it's going to come to 2,000 to 1,000 to 500, and then they'll be like, okay, the boss, I can't afford this anymore. It's as that. And at that time, I think the mid-level promoters will have a scope because all the clubs themselves are stopping to do.
But it comes down again. It's going to come back to the point that the clubs want to kill it. They want to make as much money as they can from either promoter or from their own land.
Yeah.
So that that support system for our kind of scene is not here.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is how you had the catwalks at that time.
Yeah.
Who were calling you and saying do something. Now there's no point even if the catwalk's available because everybody wants to go to a Soho and Blue Marlin. But if the Blue Marlin and Soho at one time start going in a different direction, then you have scope for a catwalk.
Correct.
That's what I'm trying to do. So then that starts
clubs,
happening. Then the catwalk will happen. Casa Latina will happen because there is still a good 250 people, 300 people who are like, okay man, I'm still into this music, I still want to go.
But I don't think going back to the days of just locals winging it, I think that's kind of past.
You think so?
Because
I've always had an issue with Dubai. That's one of my biggest issues that we don't have a local scene. We don't have a local scene.
We don't have a local scene.
Yeah. It's
because now to get people out of their house, man.
Oh, you guys are getting depressing now.
But it's true.
We don't have a local scene.
It's true.
Yeah, but I think also right now, like we're talking about the whole full circle, and I think what you're saying is
now to do a local scene, either we have to do no tickets at all.
I was just going to get in that because now we've established the fact that
if somebody's going to spend X amount of money, they want to come and see it.
Of course. And I still believe when we go back into that whole segment of yes, you don't charge, right?
Yeah.
But your higher share of revenue on the bar, we were getting it at that time.
Yeah,
we were getting it. It's not like it wasn't happening. We were getting it.
But I think that's where we are now with the whole 360 coming back. What is going to happen is I think people are just going to get fed up of seeing the same big names, paying that money, and you're done. Now it's refreshing now to just go see local. I think that's going to come back. Yeah, small acts. Yeah.
Again, man, at least for me, it's about creating that environment. People will go to your venue or your night if it's a good environment.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, I think even now if you go back to a catwalk or you go back to a casa, it's going to be that much more important you can't do it.
As we did.
You were just saying earlier, put one strobe and run a party. I don't think we can do that anymore.
That's what I was just telling you, we should just go
you
back.
You just put one strobe but use the strobe well.
I was just telling you we should just go back to like at 10 o'clock, you were scared to open the door because it's just that loud, no lights and just, somebody's just killing it.
And maybe 2 park hands on the leg going, and that's it,
Nobody at the door, no guest list, and you're just literally scared to walk in now. But I think maybe that it's time to get that back again because people will consume. I mean, the people out there, they want to go out, they want to have a good time, they want to have a blast, and that's the whole thing. Again, I know we're looking at the whole being avid music heads and things like that. You're looking at that, but there is a mass as well who just want to go out and have a good time. They don't care about your strobe, they don't care about who's playing, and of course they do care about what they're spending at the door or generally what they're spending
at
the bar and things like that. And at the end of the day, they just want to go and have a good time.
Super expensive as well now.
It's always going to get expensive.
Yeah.
It's never going to get cheaper.
But I'm saying that is no. I agree, and that's why paying at the door and paying for the drinks from 10 o'clock. You are expecting people to come in at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Spending at the bar, spending at the door. It's crazy. I mean, I totally understand what they're going through, and it's not. I mean, unless I remember those days we used to step out pretty much 4-5 nights a week.
But then see, but that
you're young.
no, but that's also
the difference, right? Because we were very picky and choosy on where we were going and who we were seeing. And like how you said Blue Marlin, it's not like we go there every weekend. We go there like once in like 3 months or 6 months, or so we still pick and choose. Now what is happening with the mass is every week they've got like 8 international DJs to pick from. They're like spoiled now, and they're doing that constantly every weekend. I mean, Black Coffee, like the guy is there every other weekend playing. Like, what's going on? Like, how much of that can you consume? That's what I'm going back to. You'll get bored of it.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no way going back from that.
Yeah?
Interesting. Let's see. It's going to be fun. Let's do. Yeah, if at all it boils down to it, let's do. I don't know, one massive WAP versus glitch party and kill it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it runs till 8 o'clock in the morning.
You
or
heard
something.
it, That's it.
Like Zico says, you open the door and you'll be like, whoa man, where am I going in?
Funny story. One of the nights in basement, right? So I don't know if you know Anthony.
Yes.
So we decided to have Anthony as the dome manager.
Yes. He was standing over.
Because he knew people,
Yeah.
he knew the regulars,
Yeah.
and he was a tough ass, right? If he says no, and he had that look, you want to mess with him.
With the goatee. We met him in Media One as well.
So we decided, let's try it out. Let's put Anthony as a dome manager. So I'm standing out of the club. It's super early, man. It's like so we don't even open. We still have an hour to open the club, and there's freaking cars. Two cars pull up. These kids get out of the car, nicely dressed, and we're like, oh, dude, these guys in the wrong club. And I'm looking at Anthony, and I was like, okay, let the bouncers handle this. Let's sit back and watch. So these kids walk up like, we want to come for glitch. Is this glitch? And this guy say, yeah, but you're too early. Like, no, we want to look inside the club to see what it looks like. And I'm thinking to myself like, man, there's nothing to see.
Here's a photo.
Like, we just want to see if you're coming to the right party, and we want to see what it looks like. If you like it, we'll stay. And then Anthony says, he's like, man, have you been to any clubs in Dubai before? And he was like, yeah, we like Qawwali. He's like, you better turn around right now. Because this is no Qawwali, man. He's like, no, we want to come for your party. He's like, no, don't come.
Yeah, we need to go back to those, no? Like we are actually telling people, no, don't go. It's okay, don't come.
You snob.
Pardon? Yeah, you should, even if it's like a private thing, just invite only. That'll be so cool. We should just do an invite only thing.
But man, it should be a long scene anyway.
It should be a long, it should be a long session.
Scene.
Not in
Let's not
Dubai.
get excited.
Let's not do it in Dubai.
Anyway, man, before we sign off, thanks a lot so much for taking time. But before we sign off, there's a lot of new guys who are now, going to start taking up VJing or already taken up. What's your take to them? Is like, what is their starter kit, for example? What do you advise? What do you advise?
Save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Plus, you can put it on your details where they can get in touch with you.
Yeah.
So they have all of that.
Yeah. So figure out your scene. Figure out your kind of city, or if it's Dubai, then figure out the workings of Dubai, right? What would be your target clubs, and kind of cater to that segment. Reason being, it's very expensive to buy a whole bunch of visuals.
Yeah.
So you need to know what club you're playing for. Kind of grow from there. Buy a bunch of visuals for that specific venue, or that kind of scene. If you're doing a commercial scene, then buy commercial style visuals. Invest in a good laptop, which is key. And invest in good quality visuals, because people are educated now. You can't really download the whole YouTube thing and do that anymore, like was done in the 90s. So you really have to invest money in it. Invest money in good quality visuals, invest money in a good laptop, and just do a lot of homework, do a lot of research. VJing is not rocket science.
Exactly. I was just going to say,
but
it comes down to...
It comes and also, it also comes down to music. You have to know music.
Yeah.
So the first thing before you start VJing, go listen to music.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know when the drop's gonna happen, you don't know how to count bars, and you don't know where the song is gonna move into. Even if you don't know that track, you should be able to guess where this track is gonna move into before it moves into that.
And what the drop is like, or whatever.
And predict what the DJ is probably gonna play next if he's playing this track. Where his set is going. So then you know. Then your guesswork is going to get, the threshold of your guesswork is going to come down.
Down, yeah.
And then your creativity is going to go up.
Have you ever considered taking on interns and classes? Or
No, dude,
No.
I don't have the patience for it.
have
No, I don't have the time either because we're doing so much corporate work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
so-
people approached you?
A few, no, not too many. But
Yeah, but you're just like, nah, man, it's not.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's not even like.
check YouTube.
It's not even like for your back end work. Like, okay, man, do this so that you get used to this. Nothing.
No, yeah, I mean, I can tell them, okay, yeah, watch this tutorial.
No, I'm saying they help you in some way where they get experience. Is there anything like that? No.
No,
there's nothing.
the whole you can carry my laptop bag.
No.
Which was a thing at one point, right? All these videos like,
There's still a few of them doing it.
You can carry my laptop bag.
No. What I meant is like when your corporate gigs, you said there's a lot of back end work. So is
Yeah.
there anything that people can take on and do a part of the back end work for you?
For me, no, because I already have my kind of team in place.
Okay.
We all use the same software. Everything needs to be perfect.
Okay.
The computers need to be in sync with everything. The software that we're using needs to be in sync with everything.
Yeah.
So
if
it's very technical.
for them starting off in thing, do you advise that they take on an internship with any company or people to gain more experience, or how do they get the?
If you're going to do that in Europe, yes. But in Dubai, YouTube. It's really not that complicated. It starts with music. You have to know your music. Once you know the music, it's just a matter of buying a software, buying some visuals.
But that you're talking mostly on a nightclub point.
Or a
of view.
nightclub point,
But in a corporate world.
In the corporate world, you need to be trained for years
Exactly.
on
So what I'm
softwares
saying,
and so on.
how do they gain the experience on that? Is there any place that they can go and get an internship? No.
Now here's the thing with Dubai, right? When you join a company, people want people who are already freaking done, right? If I'm going to hire you, they need to do. The person hiring you needs to know that you know your shit. You're just going to sit on the computer and produce,
Yeah.
right? The whole intern thing for our field is not really.
Cool, man. Anything else, Zico?
No,
Any
I
other
think we're
questions?
good,
We're good. Thanks a lot again.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks so much for taking the time, and we're gonna, like we discussed with Zico, we're gonna have you maybe sometime over to maybe give us a run through some of the softwares. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, sure.
Something more
of course.
practical where people can, just have a look at what goes on.
Cool.
Goes on in the back of scenes. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in.
Right. Thank you.
One sec.
Yeah. Thank you once again. Before we sign out, just so that you know, 26th May, the release, Ajas and Vivek, Madras. Yeah, that's what's playing in the background, and we'll leave it off. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, ciao.